I then was approached by Manchester City Council whether I wanted to become the languages advisor. I did. I'd learned the Benjamin Button bit had started at that point, because if you look at education, we were very compartmentalized, right? Primary and secondary, etc. But I kind of realized that many of the issues that we were confronted with, particularly in Hull, the cause of those issues had started much earlier.
Yeah.
So therefore, why wait, right? So the solution has to lie much earlier. So one of the things that I'm incredibly proud of in Manchester was I introduced languages into all the primary schools in Manchester with the support of the consulate.
Wow.
So we did German, French, Spanish, Italian, and Russian, pre the wall coming down, just about. And we had support from those consulates and embassies. We had support from the European Union massively, and we sent hundreds of teachers, primary age teachers, to be trained in Clermont-Ferrand, in Madrid, Alcalá, in Bologna, in Chemnitz, and in St. Petersburg. And it worked. And the other thing we did is we literally linked every one of those primary schools with a school in the country or in the cities. And some, particularly the Italian ones, actually started exchanging, and that's where much later the Shakespeare project came from. And then what happens is time moves on. You begin to think that you should do certain things. So I became an inspector, and I became an Ofsted inspector for a while, the Office for Standards in Education, and I joined the dark side. And it was a very important lesson, actually. I didn't stay for very long. I didn't want to do the inspections anymore, because inspecting should mean a collaborative effort to make things better for the children. It shouldn't mean that you go in, take Polaroid photographs, or selfies, I think they're probably called these days, and use them as evidence to come to one-word judgments that you're either good, bad, or indifferent. Then I got approached by the Secretary of State's office whether I wanted to become the education director for the Education Action Zones, which was a government initiative for the 25 most disadvantaged areas in England. And I got South Manchester, Wythenshawe, where I'd worked before, where the Italian was introduced into the primary schools, and where Manchester Airport was the private sector sponsor. So I literally had an office in Terminal 1 at Manchester Airport, and it was the first time that I saw properly private-public sector partnership, but really importantly regulated. I think private-public sector partnerships are brilliant if they are two things. One is win-win, mostly for the children, and secondly regulated, because we've seen since that when it's unregulated, the finance director becomes more important than the education director, and we're on the wrong track.